After that fateful night in the chapel, Liza couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to uncover about the tragic love story of the phantom bride and her groom. The village had a history steeped in sorrow, and she felt a pull to investigate further. What if their love story had deeper roots? What if there were other spirits, other stories that were still waiting to be told? Determined to explore this new path, Liza decided to visit the village's historical society. There, she met an elderly woman named Mrs. Macallister, the keeper of the village's history. Mrs. Macallister had seen generations come and go, and her eyes sparkled with the knowledge of countless tales, many of which were whispered in hushed tones among the villagers. As she approached the chapel, the air grew thick with mist, wrapping around her like a shroud. The building loomed before her, ancient and weathered, its stones worn smooth by the passage of time. The chapel was rumored to be haunted, a place where sorrow lingered like a specter. Liza pushed the heavy door open, the creaking hinges resonating through the silence. Inside, the chapel was dark, illuminated only by the flickering light of a single candle placed on the altar. Shadows danced along the walls, and she could feel the weight of countless eyes upon her, the gazes of the souls who had once filled this sacred space with joy and laughter. Liza steeled herself and stepped further inside, the sound of her footsteps echoing against the cold stone floor. She had come prepared, armed with the knowledge of rituals passed down through generations. An old healer in the village had shared the secret of releasing the trapped souls. All she needed was to summon their spirits and offer them a chance at freedom. Liza began to chant the ancient incantation, her voice trembling but growing stronger with each word. As she spoke, the candle's flame flickered wildly, and the air around her shimmered, charged with an energy that made her skin prickle. Suddenly, a chill swept through the chapel, and she felt an otherworldly presence manifesting. The ghostly figures of a bride and groom materialized before her, their faces etched with sorrow and longing. The bride wore a beautiful gown that flowed like mist, shimmering in the dim light, while the groom's features were shadowed and indistinct, his eyes reflecting a deep sadness. Liza's heart raced as she gazed at them, knowing she was witnessing something truly extraordinary. "Why have you come?" the bride's voice echoed softly, like a whisper carried by the wind. "I've come to help you find peace," Liza replied, her voice steady despite her fear. "You don't have to be trapped here anymore." The groom stepped forward, his expression a mix of hope and despair. "We've been waiting for someone to break the curse. But who would dare approach this place? I am not afraid," Liza declared, feeling the weight of her purpose. "I want to help you." As she spoke, memories flooded the chapel, intertwining with the present. Liza saw flashes of the couple's past, their love, the joy of their wedding day, and the horror of their tragic fate. She understood that they had been torn apart by jealousy and betrayal, their love left unfinished. "Please," Liza pleaded, "let me help you find each other again. You deserve to be together in peace." The bride looked at the groom, and for a moment their eyes met, a spark of recognition igniting the air around them. Liza felt the energy in the room shift, a current of emotion flowing through the space. "Can we truly be free?" the groom asked, his voice heavy with doubt. "Yes," Liza assured them, "but you must be willing to let go of your pain." The couple exchanged glances, and in that moment, Liza sensed the deep connection they still shared. Their love had transcended death, but their pain had kept them tethered to the earthly realm. She knew she had to guide them through this final release. Liza closed her eyes and continued the incantation, pouring her heart into the words. The atmosphere thickened with emotion, and she felt the room vibrating with energy. Suddenly, a brilliant light erupted, enveloping the couple, illuminating the chapel in a warm glow. They began to shimmer and fade, their forms becoming ethereal as they moved closer together. "Thank you," the bride whispered, her voice barely audible above the crackling energy. "You have set us free," the groom echoed, a sense of relief washing over him. Liza watched in awe as their figures intertwined, merging into a radiant light before vanishing completely. The chapel fell silent. Liza opened her eyes and took a deep breath, feeling an overwhelming sense of peace wash over her. The air felt lighter, and the oppressive atmosphere that had once filled the chapel was gone. She stepped outside, greeted by the cool night air. The village seemed different now. The stories she had heard no longer felt like curses, but rather tales of love and redemption. As she walked home, Liza thought about the couple and the power of love to transcend even the darkest of fates. Their story would live on, not as a tale of sorrow, but as a testament to the strength of the human heart. As Liza continued her journey home, her mind raced with thoughts about the couple's tragic history. The village had always whispered of their love story, of how they had been torn apart by jealousy and betrayal. She felt an urge to investigate further, to uncover the truth behind their curse. The next day, she visited the village library, hoping to find old records or accounts that could shed light on the couple's past. The air inside the library was musty, filled with the scent of aging paper and dust. Rows of books lined the shelves, some bound in leather, others in faded cloth. Liza spent hours poring over old newspapers and historical documents. Finally, she stumbled upon a faded photograph of the couple. The bride's smile was radiant, and the groom looked at her with such devotion that it made Liza's heart ache. Beneath the photograph was a small article detailing their tragic end. They had been young and in love, but a jealous rival had conspired against them. In a fit of rage, he had sabotaged their wedding day, causing a horrific accident that claimed their lives. The villagers had never forgotten, and their spirits had remained bound to the chapel, waiting for someone to set them free. With renewed determination, Liza knew she needed to confront the remnants of that jealousy. She returned to the chapel, armed with knowledge and resolve. This time, she would not only release the spirits but also confront the darkness that had caused their suffering. As she entered the chapel, she felt the air grow heavy once more, charged with lingering emotions. She positioned the photograph of the couple on the altar and lit the candle, the flickering flame reflecting her determination. "Spirits of the chapel," she called out, her voice echoing in the silence. "I seek not only to free you but to understand the pain that has bound you here. Show me the truth." The temperature in the chapel dropped, and a cold wind swept through the room. Shadows gathered in the corners, forming into figures the jealous rival who had caused their demise, a figure cloaked in darkness. "You dare to speak to me?" the figure sneered, his voice cold and biting. "I dare because I want to help them," Liza replied firmly. "Your jealousy has caused this suffering for too long. It's time for you to face the consequences of your actions." The rival's laughter echoed, filled with bitterness. "Why should I care? They were nothing but pawns in my game." Their love was a farce. Liza stepped forward, determination fueling her words. Their love was real, and you cannot erase that. Your actions caused their pain, and it's time for you to take responsibility. The shadows around her writhed, as if agitated by her words. She could feel the energy shifting, the room vibrating with tension. "You think you can change what has already happened?" the rival taunted, but there was an underlying tremor in his voice. "I believe in the power of love and redemption," Liza declared. "Let their spirits go, and perhaps you can find peace as well." The rival hesitated, and for a moment, the darkness that surrounded him flickered. Liza pressed on, feeling a surge of energy as she spoke from her heart. "The couple you wronged had a love that transcended death. They deserve to be free, and you deserve a chance to atone for your actions." The shadows swirled around the rival, growing darker, as if the darkness was fighting to hold him back. But Liza could sense a crack forming in his facade. With each word, she felt the weight of the spirit's sorrow lift. The couple's presence filled the chapel once more, illuminating the darkness with their love. "Let us go," the bride's voice rang out, filled with sorrow and hope. "Yes," Liza urged, feeling the power of their love surge around her. "You can be free." The rival's form began to waver, caught between the darkness of his actions and the light of the couple's love. Liza held her ground, feeling the energy in the room shift once more. "Choose," she urged him. "Choose to let go of your hatred and pain." With a final roar of frustration, the rival's figure shattered, dissipating into the shadows. The chapel filled with a blinding light as the spirits of the couple embraced, their love intertwining in a beautiful dance of freedom. Liza felt the warmth envelop her, a sense of peace washing over the chapel as the couple vanished into the light, finally free from the chains of the past. As the light faded, the chapel felt transformed. The heavy air lifted, replaced by a sense of calm and serenity. Liza knew that she had not only freed the spirits but had also confronted the darkness that had plagued their love story. With a heart full of hope, Liza stepped outside, ready to share the story of the couple who had found peace at last. Their tale would live on, not as a story of tragedy but as one of love, forgiveness, and redemption. Subscribe to see more stories like this, and don't forget to lock your doors at night. And don't open them for anyone. Your nightmares, our stories.